A lot of you pointed out something I completely missed in my Kodak slide and scan video where I did a little review of this guy. And by a lot of you, I just mean me because I mentioned it in that video. So today we're rerunning the test, but this time using the scanner's 14 megapixel but this time using the scanner's native 14 megapixel mode instead of the digitally enhanced 22 megapixel. What if the biggest difference between these scans isn't the scanner itself, but the way I scan them? The goal isn't necessarily to beat the professional lab scan, it's to see if we can close the gap in overall color, the brightness, and the image quality. I'm gonna use the little cleaner this time. I'm like, maybe that'll help. I don't know. Probably not, but that's okay. Trying not to get my grubby little fingers on everything like I usually do. So we're gonna go film type, color, 35. It's on 22, so we're gonna switch it over. It's on 14 now. There she is, our bridal photo that's a little too blue and not bright enough. So we wanted to do 14, and then we also want to make the brightness like 1 or 2 stops higher. But we think maybe 2 stops brighter, so we're gonna do one that's 1 stop brighter and then another that's the 2nd stop brighter. So
I think you might be good on green. Okay, go to the blue and take blue out. Yeah, that looks good. Looks better.
Okay.
Yeah, try that.
okay, well, Dylan just helped with the color, so we're gonna try this. Adjusted the color, we're doing 1 stop up in brightness on this one, and then we'll do 1 more.
Can you go back to red actually? Sorry.
Just kidding. Okay.
Increase red? Try it.
Okay.
Let's do it, Bella.
Okay. Okay, we're gonna scan that.
Watch it look like left cheek.
Okay, and then we're gonna change the brightness up 1 more. And we're gonna scan that one. And now we're going to see what it looks like. We took all of them off and they're here in my SD. So let's open them all up. We have the lab image, the original scan that I didn't change the color, didn't change the brightness, just scanned right in. We changed the color and the brightness 1 stop, and then we have this one where we changed the color and the brightness 2 stops. So let's see them all. Let's just talk about brightness really quick. I think the brightness did help a lot to look a little more like the lab scan in these. I think 2 stops was a little too much brightness, but the color adjustment looks really good and the 1 stop brightness looks really good in comparison to the first one we did, for sure. We talked about how there wasn't too much. I mean, you can definitely see like a little more grain in the lab scan. I mean, something that you want with film is this like grainy look. It looks detailed and things like that. Whereas this one looks like just a little more flat in comparison to the lab scan. The 22 in comparison to the 14, like you can see the 14 still has a little bit of that grain going on there, and this one doesn't. Do you know what I'm talking about? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's kind of like flatted.
What, this one?
Even the one with the more brightness, it's kind of like,
Yeah,
you don't get
that.
the same depth.
No, you definitely don't. Not as the lab scan. And I obviously did a terrible job cleaning it because there's still little, like there's stuff all over it. Like, look at the little hairs. I did a terrible job cleaning this film, but it's fine.
But I also wanted to do this so we could see if we could like bring back, you know, some of that.
Yeah, so we can pull this in and like try to, I think maybe we just stick with the one-stop brightness because this one might be too much. So we'll pull in the 14 megapixel one-stop brightness into Lightroom and try to get it a little bit closer to the lab scan. And this is where Dylan will step in because I am not good at editing photos. Yeah, it's definitely pushing it.
Yeah, you can see on her shoulder,
yeah,
like breaks.
Yeah, you can see the breaks there for sure.
But it's just not big enough to.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's before and it's.
I mean, it doesn't look too bad though. I mean, you did a really good job, like getting it very close to that. And like, if this was an image that just found like an old family photo or something, like it's really not bad.
If you don't compare it to a lab scan, it's not bad.
Yeah, if you're just comparing it to itself, then it's really not that bad. Obviously, the Kodak slide and scan is not comparable to a Noritsu scanner. So let's break it up. So we did 14 versus the 22. The 14 and the 22, I didn't see a huge difference. I thought the digitally altered version on the 22 was like really close to the 14 anyway. However, when we went to go edit the image, we couldn't push it as far. So if you're going to put in and edit the color of the image, I think that rather scan the 14 because you can push it a little further, as you can see here. With the brightness comparison, I definitely think pushing it one stop brighter was the move because that helped so much. The first original slide and scan was just so dark in comparison to the one that we just scanned. So after rescanning everything, here's what I learned. The difference between the scanner's native 14 megapixel and the digitally enhanced 22 version wasn't noticeable right out of the scanner, but once we started editing the native 14 megapixels, it actually held up a lot better than the 22. It gave us more room to push the image before it started falling apart. The biggest discovery was the exposure. Scanning the image one stop brighter made a noticeable difference. The files just looked more usable and gave a much better starting point when comparing to the lab scans. And while the Kodak slide and scan isn't replacing professionally scanned lab images anytime soon, I do think that the second test showed that there's a little more potential hiding in this scanner than I originally gave it credit for. So if you're using the Kodak slide and scan digital film scanner, my recommendation would be to stick with the original 14 megapixels for the scanner and don't be afraid to scan a little brighter. So was I wrong about the slide and scan? Not really, but I do think that I learned how to get better results out of it. Again, if you want one of these little guys, there's a link down below for you to purchase and try it for yourself. All right, me and my scanner are outie. Bye. Say bye, friend. Bye.